Hello everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a requested review which I forgot to do when I promised. I've lost it. It is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush Palette, which has been out for a couple of months and you can buy it in the UK. I bought mine in Canada in Sephora because I was able to get it cheaper because of the exchange rate, which is great. Okay, so this palette was basically released, I think it's limited edition, I'm not sure, I could be wrong. I don't know. It was released to give you 3 different types of their blushes, their ambient powder blushes, which did only come out this year, but it gives you the opportunity to have 3 in one palette, basically, just making it a more affordable version, because I believe the individual blushes themselves cost about 30 quid, which is not cheap by any means, and you get 3 of these for 56 in the UK. And so 2 of these are permanent ones, as in you can buy them individually. I'm not sure if I've ever done a review on the other 2 blushes that I've got. I think it's Radiant Magenta and something else, but they are awesome blushes. They get 10 out of 10. They are great. And now this one, obviously I have had since October. I have used it extensively, so I like to think that I'm giving an honest review on this. This one here is Luminous Flush, this one is Incandescent Electra, and this one is Mood Exposure. Now these 2 on either end are permanent ones, and it's the Incandescent Electra which is limited edition. So then that would answer my question from before. This is a limited edition palette, if the blush is limited edition. And it is a very warm toned palette. Now, I've noticed that with the other 2 blushes I've got, which are also very warm toned, because there isn't enough cool kind of tone to it, some of the shades can kind of look very similar, which is a little bit annoying. But generally and overall, the colour payoff, heavily pigmented, easy to blend, soft, and lasts for a good 10 to 12 hours, which is all you want from any kind of product, whether it's blush or anything else. So that these blushes tick all those boxes. So in those terms, it gets a 10 out of 10. So that means the palette itself gets a 10 out of 10. Now I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about each one of these blushes. Now what I've done is, to make swatching easy, I've actually applied foundation to my hand. I've applied my MAC Pro Longwear in NC40 and I've let it dry down. So I'm going to swatch each one of these so you can have a look. So the first one I'm going to swatch is called Luminous Flush. As you can see, very pigmented and lovely. They do kick up a bit of powder, which I have mentioned before, so they will finish a lot more quickly than other blushes, which is slightly annoying considering the price you've paid for it. And I find that's exactly the same for the Ambient Lighting Powder Palette too. It's a lovely rosy shade. That was one swatch and I have blended it out nicely. So that is Luminous Flush. Now the center shade, which is Incandescent Electra, this is the limited edition shade, which is just exclusive to the palette itself. And that looks like this. This one is very much like a pinky peach sort of shade, but leaning more to the pink, and it has more shimmer to it, as you can see, than the one above. Again, it kicks up quite a bit of sheen. It kicks up quite a bit of powder. But the thing that I love about these blushes themselves is, even if they are shimmery or slightly shimmery, they apply really nicely to the skin and they don't emphasize pores, which is what you don't want, especially for something which has got a little bit of shimmer to it. Again, this one lasts for a very long time. As you can see, even though in the palette itself it tends to look more orangey pink, on my skin tone it comes out a little bit more pink than it does peach. So that's something to bear in mind if you've got medium skin tone. And then the last one in this palette is this one here, which is called Mood Exposure. Looks like that. Alright, I've clearly applied foundation really heavily to my hand. So this one is like a mauvey, plummy pink sort of shade, and it hasn't got shimmers to it. That's what I'm actually wearing on my cheeks today as a blush. And I'm wearing it because I'm wearing very rose coloured makeup on my eyes and pink lips, so I wanted something which was a little bit not pink, if that makes sense. So you can see the differences between all three of those shades. Now overall I would give this palette a 9 out of 10. The reason I'm not going to give it a 10 is not because there's something wrong with this, because it's so warm toned. A lot of the shades, when they've been on your skin for a little while, they can tend to change colour slightly, and they all, especially these two here, can look very much the same. The limited edition one in the middle is definitely the kind of standout one, the one that is a little bit different. Whereas this one, you can see both of the warmness in the tones, and you can imagine once you've applied it to the skin, blended it out, you've got contouring, you've got highlighting, you've got this, you've got that, they may start to kind of blend in with other shades and look a little bit similar. So that is the only slight downfall. But other than that, I mean, for £56 for £30 of individual blushes, you're getting a really good bargain. If you've been interested in wanting to try these blushes, I would definitely recommend buying something like this. So you're getting, again, 3 for the price of 1.5. So yeah, so that is what my thoughts are on this palette. The packaging itself, you can see my fingerprints all over it. So it is unfortunately one of those ones which is a bit, makes me look like an alien fisheye when I look at myself in it. It's got a great little mirror inside as well, and generally, other than the dust that it kicks up a bit, which means that you will finish it sooner than normal blushes, I think it's an awesome palette. I hope that you guys enjoyed this review. If you've got any more questions about this palette or the shades or whatever it might be, because I have used it for quite a while, please let me know below. If you'd like to know the makeup I'm wearing, I will link it below to my Instagram post, as I always do. Other than that, I hope you're all having a lovely December so far. Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.